After watching Fleurdelys' Excalibur ultimate and imagining me being the target for 69 times in a row, let's get to know her more in anticipation of Cartethia's full release. Today we'll be going through her first impressions and pre-release guide and possible team comps for Cartethyia. It is a fun discussion, so I'd love to hear what you have in mind. Comment down below, man, don't be shy. Without further ado, let's start with her role. She's an arrow erosion main damage dealer that is able to both apply and amplify arrow erosion damage. Seeing her insane visuals and obvious focus on her in the story, it is very safe to say that Kuro will not disappoint with Cartethia's performance, as they have been consistent with that for quite a while. Along with the release of the new Echo sets that does provide a lot of stats, Cartethyia is set to sweep version 2.4 as one of the strongest damage dealer we have. And with that out the way, let's take a look at how we can best prepare for her, which we will have to start with her best teams. The first ally in that team would be Arrow Rover. This is a no-brainer, as Arrow Rover is able to increase the arrow erosion stack limit by 3, which directly benefits Cartethyia that utilizes arrow erosion for damage output. Not to mention, we will be able to unlock all of her resonant chains with the coming update, which means a very solid increase in damage for Rover herself. Not to mention, she does provide very good healing for her entire team, so it is her perfect ally for now. You want to get Arrow Rover ready, so yeah, go ahead. Moving along, we do have the final ally on her best team, which will be Chacona. This is also a no-brainer, and this team is pretty much the only team that has anything to do with arrow erosion in the whole game. And yeah, that does also mean they're hard to come by, right? Well, except Arrow Rover because that's free, but yeah, it is mainly Chacona. Chacona is able to inflict arrow erosion herself and amplifies arrow erosion damage by 100% for a lengthy 30-second duration. This is incredible for Cartethyia, and Kuro has obviously designed Chacona to be the perfect ally as well for her, which is very brutal since Chacona's battle is literally happening right now and Cartethia's battle will happen right after. Kuro Games, man, you'd be spreading us too thin, dude. Not to mention they have two of the most badass new swimsuit skin coming too. Like, dude, I'd best be planning to rob a bank if I were you. And there you have it, it's the best Cartethyia team. The pros is that this team will be very strong and synergizes with each other well through arrow erosion from all of them. Think about Zaddy and Phoebe's team, yeah? The con here though is that if you don't own Chacona, what are the other possible teams we can use? This is the worry for a lot of people when most can't afford to just pull Chacona and wish to guarantee Cartethyia back to back. And unfortunately, things are not looking too great. The alternative teams for Cartethyia would be Cartethyia herself, Arrow Rover, as well as a duo, and the best in the third slot would be Sanhua. And not even because of her buff, but just for how quickly she can trigger her outro skill. Move out and let Arrow Rover or Cartethyia do their arrow erosion abilities quicker. This is a painful point for Cartethyia Hunters, where you can't expect there to be very little wiggle room on her team compositions outside of the best one. There is the thought of using Phoebe as the third ally pairing with Arrow Rover's resonance skill, which will be able to convert spectral frazzle stacks into arrow erosion for Cartethyia to shine. However, this will certainly need more testing, plus it would be bizarre to pull Phoebe away from your current spectral frazzle team just for a non-ideal Cartethyia team. Other than Phoebe, the one that makes sense would be someone like Sanhua, where you aren't even trying to utilize their buffs that much, and it's just more to cycle your team rotation fast with Sanhua's high-paced combos. It allows you to go into Arrow Rover and Cartethyia faster, which just speeds up the whole cycle, giving you more chance to plan arrow erosion and deal damage via Cartethyia. But do expect this team's performance to pale in comparison to having Chacona in the team, obviously, right? Now then, with the team compositions out the way, let's take a look at her echoes. They have announced the new sets in the livestream and on their official website as well, namely the Windward Pilgrimage and Flaming Clawprint sets. The Windward set is easily the best set for Cartethyia, as you can read, and it is the pattern of how Kuro Games release sets, is usually the newest ones paired with the newest characters, right? The Windward set here is able to bring you increased crit rate and a hefty 30% arrow damage bonus. All of that just by hitting an arrow erosion target, which is very easy to do considering using Cartethyia. Pair this with Chacona's Gusts of Welkin set and her own kit, you will be obtaining a lot of arrow erosion alongside a lot of arrow damage bonus as well, which is why you can expect Cartethyia to be dumping down huge numbers. With the announcement of the new 4-cost boss Echo, Nightmare Kelpie, on top of the fact that she already has an abundance of arrow damage bonus, you may expect Cartethyia to use the 4-4-1-1-1 Echo setup just to maximize her crit rate and crit damage. but it will all depend on when her numbers are released. So yeah, stay tuned for that. As for her weapon, there's not much to deduce at the moment. Her own is certainly the best in slot, while the worry here is that her alternatives will be a lot less ideal since there are no other weapons that's related to arrow erosion they can equip on Cartethyia. It is quite a challenge, and again, this does mean you might want to pull the good old store page up again and get a couple of bundles in because you just put Chakota, and now you have to pull Cartethyia and her weapon both again, back to back, dude. However, keep in mind to wait until her release for full guides, which I'll likely be making too, unless I just jump off a roof after my card gets declined after trying to swipe for Chun-Li's skin next week. But yeah, for now, on the weapon front, it seems her own is simply the ideal ones, with others really lacking comparison, but I'm sure you can still use like anyone that gets crit rate or crit damage as their main stats. With that said, it's time to conclude on Cartethyia. In my opinion, she's easily going to be worthwhile to pull only if you own Chakota. Now, if you don't own Chakota, I would unfortunately hold off pulling her as cool as she is to see how she performs without her first. After all, if she simply doesn't perform well because you don't have the full team, it would be like you have a character that's just really never going to be used until you get a rerun of Chakota and then get her, or unless if you're lucky and they release another arrow erosion character for you. Another way to look at it is to just grab her anyway, wait for future reruns or potential better arrow erosion allies. But God knows how long that'd take too, right? If we're solely talking about Cartethyia herself, she comes in two forms. Fleurdelys looks like what my mom would look like if she was proud of me. Her animations are fluid, sharp, and strong as well. It's like pulling two characters in one as well, so it's definitely worth it pulls in my opinion from the aesthetic standpoint. I'm also confident she'll be very strong too. Kuro did put the pedal to the metal with Cartethyia and Fleurdelys' combat animation, and they are quite focused on them in the story too. Hard to imagine them pulling down their numbers and have them be lackluster, right? If we consider potential future banners as well that has been revealed in their live stream and on X, it is going to be damn near impossible to decide if Cartethyia is worth it in the long run. However, based on track record, Wuthering Waves has considerably slower power creep, right? Think about how Jinxie is still one of the strongest team that the game has to offer. We got GN, which is still fairly solid as well, which is why I think Cartethyia will be a very safe choice for a decent time period to come, considering they're releasing her currently, where it's like the second year of Wuthering Waves, while the first year releases are all still very solid. But as it is the case with any banners and characters in this game, the most important part is if you like the character. Don't let anyone tell you that a character is a must pull, and I'll tell you as well, Cartethyia is certainly not a must pull. I would almost guarantee you wouldn't have that much fun if you force yourself to pull her, and especially if you don't even have Chakota, right? Speaking from experience, every character that has been released as a limited banner with their best team will be able to aid you to beat every endgame. It's a pretty awesome part about Wuthering Waves in my opinion, where a lot of the characters are usable. As long as your mastery with the team itself is solid, you can beat anything. So yeah, have fun with it. But hey, in the end though, I bet a lot of people will love to want to go grab Cartethyia anyway, so yeah. But remember, all of these are just pre-release analysis. I'd love to hear your discussions as well on the characters, so don't be shy now. Let me know in the comment section down below. And that'll be all. I hope I helped you out, and take care!